Alright, we're back again with the Deutz Lima engine generator. Got my timing pins. This is pretty much all they consist of. 2 steel pins, the correct thread in them, and the correct length. They're actually the exact same length, so it doesn't really matter which one you put in the crank and which one you put in the cam, which is convenient, so no worries there. Pretty nicely made. Should be. So go over how you set those. Got the first hole right over here. There's just a plug in there originally. You probably can't see down in there, but you can see directly into the bearing of the cam. It's actually an oil gallery, I believe. Can you? Oh, I think you can kind of see it right there in the light. So anyway, you pretty much just rotate the cam by hand until you see the hole, and then slide the timing pin in and tighten it up. So I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so there's the first pin installed and threaded in. Now we'll do the crank pin. The crankshaft hole is over here, another oil gallery. Now this one's important. You have to make sure you remove the copper O-ring that seals that plug, because the length of this pin is quite important, because it sets the position before top dead center of the piston when the injector fires. So it's got to be threaded all the way in there. And if you can, I know you can't see it here, but in reality when you do this, you have to first look through the hole and make sure that the counterweight is not in the way. So you have to make sure you can install the pin all the way, thread it in, bottom it out, make it snug. Then put the ratchet on here and turn the crank up. Alright, felt it hit. So then pull that pin back out, and you should be able to see the connecting rod throw. No, or not. Oh, there it is. See it down in there? That's the connecting rod throw. So thread that back in. So that's timed. Make sure it's all the way in. Make sure we didn't move anything. Should be right up against that pin. Yep. Alright, so at this point, the cam is locked in place and the crank is locked in place. We can slip the belt on. Now, one thing you have to remember if you're doing any kind of procedure like this is if you're turning the camshaft and not the crankshaft on any diesel engine, make sure that you slack off all the valves, because the cylinder head clearances in a diesel engine are so minute that you could easily bend a valve or bend a push rod or snap a valve off. Really, if you're turning the crank and you don't realize it, you can run that piston right up top into a valve that might be pushed down. It's not moving with the crank, or with the cam, I mean. So, or vice versa. You can have a piston that's at top dead center, and you could be trying to open a valve by turning the cam, and it'll smack the top of that piston. So always slack off all your valves. You can reset them later, but for the time being, slack them off. So at this point, what I'll do is, this nut down here, this bolt's already tight, so the crankshaft pulley is snug. I'll do is I'll loosen the camshaft pulley, so that way I can make it easier to set the belt on there. So let me go ahead and do that. Alright, so with the crank and the cam locked in place, you want to leave the gear on the cam a little bit loose. So don't tighten this bolt. You leave it loose like that while you tension it down here, so that when you tension it, there's equal, you can feel equal pressure on this belt and on this side of the belt here. So what you do is, if you tension the belt, It's good since the crank can't turn and this nut's already tightened down here. This gear can't spin, so it's gonna try to pull all its tension from this side right here, this side of the belt. This is the only side that can be actually brought in up on the tensioner, not this side. So if when you do that, this gear here isn't loose, you'll end up with a little bit of excess slop over here since the belt can't hop forward on these teeth. Kind of like that's the point of the cog's belt. But you can see the gear moving there when I tension it. So you put your tension on, feel equal pressure all the way around. You'll know you're good, everything's in time. Tighten that bolt up and you're done. So let me take care of that. Alright, belt tension is set. Looks good. Not too tight, because remember it's a cogged belt, so you don't want to make it too tight because you don't have to worry about it slipping. So now at this point, I'm just going to take an impact and give a quick zap on that bolt and on that bolt, and everything's going to be locked in place. They're already snug by hand without them moving, of course, because they're pinned. So give them a quick zap and we can take our pins out. Alright, now that the belt's back on, tighten back down the rocker arm supports, and what I did, I just turned the engine through, say 5 revolutions, the crankshaft, just to make sure that we didn't, we got everything timed correctly. We're not going to run into any valves or anything once we start it up. Just bar it through nice and slow, and just have a feel, make sure you don't have to worry about bending any valves. So now I'll go through and check the clearances. I've never adjusted them since I've had this engine. They don't feel too bad. So take care of that, and soon we'll be ready for a start. Alrighty, well, I got the Deutz all back together. Just haven't put the fan guard on or anything on yet. Still got to tension that belt a little bit. But just looking to test it right now. I've already had it running, so this is kind of just a on-video test. It is warmed up a little bit, and I have it at a relatively slow speed right now, pretty much near an idle, because as I don't have the generator hooked up yet, so that's how I would check the RPM, by the output frequency of the gen. So, but when I have revved it up, I have my little voltage sensing probe, and I am getting voltage here greater than 50 volts. So the generator's making power. So I'm gonna start it up on a low speed and rev it up a little bit and show you guys what it does. Let's see. Yeah, the original key switch is pretty much gone on it, so use a screwdriver. Pretty quiet engine. This thing's not jiggling around. I'm going to bring the RPM up till what I think about 1800 is. Pretty close to 1800 right there. is working. It sounds a little bit slow yet, so that's probably about around 1800, maybe 1750 or so. There it is, it's a runner. The shutdown solenoid that this engine came from had originally from the factory. I believe it's shorted out. Well, not shorted, but it's got an open circuit in it somewhere. You know, so you still there's two Murphy gauges on there for low oil pressure and high oil temperature. They won't work unless it has that electric shutdown solenoid. And you also can't shut it off with the key if it has that solenoid. So to shut it down, there's a lever on the side of the engine. And a manual shutdown here. It's actually kind of spring-loaded there. So, yeah, the alternator, which is in this fan right up here, that's obviously not connected. That and the shutdown solenoid, which hides down in there, not connected right now. Looks like there's a wire has been cut somewhere, so I pretty much need to go through this harness and rebuild it. Kind of maybe try to acquire a new shutdown solenoid. But that's it for now. Next video it'll be all back together and making power.